Have you ever wondered, what does true love really mean? How can we build a relationship that is not only sustainable but also happy? Love is not only expressed through sweet words or romantic gestures. Sometimes, it is the small actions, the silence, or how men handle their emotions that are the strongest ways they show affection. But because these expressions are so subtle and hard to recognize, women often fail to notice these signs. So how can we identify love in the simple things that men rarely express? Let's explore how men show their love in ways that women often overlook. Welcome to the Sophia's Knowledge channel, and my name is Sophia. This is the place where love lessons will help you better understand this complex emotion. In today's video, we will explore 7 ways men show affection that women often miss, a fascinating story that could change the way you perceive love in your life. Get ready, as the insights and perspectives you're about to explore might make you reflect on yourself and the relationships around you. Before we begin, find a quiet space, put on your headphones, and relax. Let your mind fully immerse in these thoughts and enjoy every moment. Are you ready to explore new things about love? Let's start right now with Sophia. Way 1. Quietly listening. The way men love that women often overlook. There is an interesting truth that not everyone realizes: men don't express love through words, they express it through actions. And among these actions, there is one so simple that women often overlook: quietly listening. No noise, no grand gestures. Just a man sitting there, quietly, his eyes fixed on you, listening to every word you say, even the most trivial stories of the day. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't contradict, and doesn't try to give advice like most men usually do. He just listens. It's that simple. But have you ever wondered why he does this? A girl once shared that her boyfriend didn't often say "I love you." He didn't surprise her with romantic gestures like in the movies. But every evening, after a long and tiring day, when she talked about her colleague missing a deadline, about her tea being too weak today, or her mom calling to remind her to get a regular health check, he would just sit and listen. No complaints, no distraction. Just quietly listening, sometimes smiling, or gently nodding. She once thought, maybe he doesn't love me enough. Until one day, when she fell into mild depression due to work pressure, she cried for hours without saying a word. And he sat beside her all that time. He didn't force her to stop crying, didn't ask why, just held her hand and let her release her feelings in her own way. That was when she understood: there are men who love you through their silent presence. Listening, seemingly a simple thing, but in this noisy world, it is a rare form of love. Because listening is not just about hearing, but about prioritizing you. It's when he puts down his phone, pauses his favorite game, or even stops his own private thoughts, to fully be present with you in that moment. Listening is a deep, quiet love, but incredibly steady. It doesn't come from the need to show off, but from a sincere desire to connect. To understand you. To step into your inner world, a place not everyone is allowed to touch. Unfortunately, women often overlook this. Because they are used to the noise of sweet words. Used to the flowers on special days, the sweet greetings, the surprise gifts. But somewhere, they forget that there is a man who just needs to sit there, not leaving, not interrupting, and never judging. That is already a huge act of love. There are men who aren't good at talking. They don't know how to tell funny stories, or they don't use words to make you laugh. But they know how to listen when you talk about the things that matter to you, even if it's something no one else finds interesting. They remember the little details you think are just casual remarks. They pay attention to your feelings, even through the slightest changes in your voice or face. So, if there is a man who silently listens to you every day, don't think he is indifferent or cold. He is probably loving you in the deepest way he knows. Quietly listening, not because there's nothing to say, but because he chooses to remain silent so that you can speak. To be yourself. To feel safe. Love, sometimes, is not in the daily I love yous. It's in the gaze that never leaves you when you speak. It's in the silence that doesn't interrupt you. It's in those moments when he just listens, promises nothing, but is always there, long enough, patient enough, loving enough. And if you have ever had someone like that, don't wait until you lose them to realize that this is the type of man worth holding on to forever. Have you ever encountered a similar situation? If yes, please share your story in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing your interesting experiences. And if you find this content helpful, please like and share it to spread the message to more people. Thank you for your support. Let's continue together. Way 2. Quietly taking care. A silent kind of love that women easily overlook. People often think that love must be expressed, must be clear, must have words and actions that are easy to recognize. But sometimes, there are people who love without words. They don't say I miss you, don't send sweet messages every morning, and aren't good at creating surprises like in romance movies. They choose one way to love, quietly taking care. And perhaps, it's because it's so quiet that many women don't realize it, or if they do, they tend to take it for granted. Here's a little story. A girl shared that her boyfriend was very quiet. He wasn't romantic, didn't often compliment her. He never bought flowers, didn't remember anniversaries. But every morning, he woke up earlier to prepare a thermos of warm water because she often had a sore throat when sleeping with the air conditioner on. Whenever it rained, he always showed up right on time with a spare raincoat, without her asking. And no matter how busy he was, he still checked her car every week, always filling up the gas, always changing the oil on time, always quietly doing the things she didn't notice. At first, she didn't value these things. She thought he was cold, not affectionate, not thoughtful. She once blamed him for being indifferent. Until one day, she had to go on a business trip for a week. No one reminded her to drink water, no one waited in the rain for her, no one checked her car before she drove on the long road. That was when she realized, all those small things were the way he loved her. The way he quietly took care of her, little by little, every day. Men tend to express their feelings through actions rather than words. It's not that they don't know how to say I love you, but they believe that actions speak louder than words. They don't promise to stay with you for a lifetime, but they fix the door latch when they see it loose, change the light bulb before you even complain about the dark, keep a band-aid in their wallet because you often get small cuts from trivial things. There are some ways of taking care that are silent. Like when he takes all the heavy luggage from your hands without saying anything. Like when he slows down just a little bit so you can keep up. Like when he never falls asleep before you text him that you've arrived home safely. These things are not loud. But they are very real. And very precious. Women are often taught that love must be romantic. It must come with compliments, hugs, kisses, and being pampered like a princess. But they forget that sometimes love is when someone is always ready to do very practical things for you. It's when he doesn't let you ride your motorcycle in the rain even if you say I'm fine. It's when he brings you lunch because he knows you'll forget to eat while working. You might think that's just responsibility. But no. Men don't take care of anyone other than the person they truly care about. No one wants to voluntarily do something unnecessary if there are no feelings from the heart. Silent love doesn't have many dramatic moments. It doesn't make you cry from overwhelming emotion, nor does it make your heart race like the passionate first love. But it's the kind of love that gives you peace. Every day. Whether it's raining or sunny, whether you're busy or tired. Quietly taking care is when he doesn't ask, "Are you tired?" but simply hands you a glass of orange juice. It's when he doesn't blame you for coming home late, but waits to have a meal with you, even if it's cold. It's when he doesn't expect you to thank him, but still repeats the action the next day, and the day after, and forever, as long as you're still there with him. If you're with a man like that, take a moment to appreciate it. Don't just wait for grand gestures or dramatic declarations of love. Because sometimes, the most precious things lie in the smallest things that the other person quietly does for you every day. Because for men, love is not always about words. It's how they let you know you're important, through very everyday actions, but filled with care. That is silent love, but always present. If you're still watching this video, don't hesitate to comment with the word continue. Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to give Sophia more motivation to create more interesting and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Way 3. Working hard for a shared future. When love doesn't need to be expressed. Love is not always romantic, not always gentle. There are men who love in a quiet, silent way, and sometimes, exhausting. But they don't give up. They continue to work, continue to carry the load, continue to try, not for themselves, but for something bigger. A home. A future. A woman they want to be with for the rest of their lives. Not everyone notices this love. Because it's not in the hugs, it doesn't show up during outings, and it's not as loud as sweet words. It's in the late nights working overtime. It's in turning down social gatherings to save money. It's in every thought that plans for a full future, where you are at the center of every plan. Someone once said, when a man starts thinking about how to take care of a woman, that's when he truly loves her. A man who loves you doesn't only think about where to eat today or where to go for fun. He thinks about where you will live 5 years from now, where your child will go to school, whether your mother will still have to work, and whether you will still struggle with the little things in life. That's why he works. A lot. You might notice he's always busy. There are days he responds less to your messages. There are times when he's late for meetings, and sometimes you might feel abandoned in the relationship. But if you're perceptive enough, you'll realize he's not distant. He's just worrying about the future. A future where you are the reason he's trying. A girl once asked her boyfriend, "Why have you been less attentive to me lately?" He was silent for a moment, then said, "Because I want, in the future, you won't have to live and worry like your mom did." That answer left her speechless. She remembered the times he woke up early, worked extra hours on weekends. She remembered how he refused to buy new shoes even though his old ones were worn out, just to save money for his younger sister's tuition fees. She recalled how one day he was so tired that he fell asleep at his desk, with a budget spreadsheet for their future wedding still open on his laptop. She realized she had seen love but never truly understood it. Men in love often don't speak much. But they have a different way of speaking, through actions. Every late night of work, every time they refuse personal fun, every penny they save instead of spending on themselves, are all unspoken words of love. Working hard for you, for a shared home, for children who haven't been born yet, is one of the most solid and precious ways of loving. But women often overlook this. Because his busyness might make them feel lonely. His silence may make them misunderstand him as indifferent. And his plans, sometimes so quietly executed, that the person beside him doesn't know they are being loved in such a profound way. Love is not just about the present. It's also about someone thinking about you in every decision for the future. It's when he considers every expense to ensure you won't go without in the future. It's when he chooses a stable job over following his passion, just because he wants you to have a secure life. It's when he works not to prove himself, but to prepare a decent life for the one he loves the most. You may not see this love every day. But it's real. It's present in every drop of sweat, in every time he refuses to rest, and in every small dream he silently gathers, just so you never have to struggle. If you're with a man like this, learn to understand instead of complaining. Look at what he's doing instead of just listening to what he's not saying. Because sometimes, love isn't in the presence every minute of every day, but in the tireless effort to ensure both of you have a fulfilling tomorrow. And if there's a man who is trying not just for himself, but for you, believe me, that's one of the most precious kinds of love in the world. Way 4. Spending time for you even when busy. A silent yet profound way of loving. In an increasingly fast-paced world, where everyone is racing against time, when a man chooses to stop, even if it's just for a few minutes, to be with you, that is a way of loving that not everyone recognizes. When a man is busy, truly busy, with work, responsibilities, goals, and even invisible pressures no one sees, but still makes time for you, still listens to you talk about trivial things, still comes to meet you in the rain, still takes a call between a series of meetings, that is not a trivial matter. It is a priority. And for men, prioritizing someone is the way they show they love that person the most. A guy once said, "I can't promise I'll reply to your messages right away. But I promise I'll never end a day without knowing whether you're okay or not." That is not a flowery promise. But it contains both effort and a silent commitment. Because not every man is free. Not everyone can be with you 24/7. But when someone makes the effort to spend the little time they have to be with you, not out of obligation, but because they want to, that is true love. A man may be very busy, but if he loves you, he will still find a way to be present in your world. It's when he asks, "Have you eaten?" during a short 10-minute break. It's when he can't meet you for a week but still asks, "Are you okay?" before going to bed. It's when he doesn't have time to plan a romantic date, but still comes to take you out to your favorite place, just because he knows you've had a stressful week. For men, spending time is not just being there, but being there voluntarily and sincerely. It's when, no matter how tired he is, he still wants to see you. It's when, among all the priorities in life, work, family, friends, and himself, he chooses you. Many women have asked, if he truly loves me, why is he too busy to spend time with me? The answer lies in the fact that he is busy because he is building a future, but he spends time with you, even if it's little, because you are part of that future. A person who doesn't love you would find it annoying when you call, no matter how free they are. A person who loves you would feel incomplete when a day goes by without hearing your voice, no matter how busy they are. Love isn't measured by the hours spent together. It's measured by how willing you are to prioritize each other, even if the time is just a few short minutes. A girl once shared that her boyfriend worked in finance, and his job was very stressful. Every day he left home at 6 a.m. and returned close to midnight. She was sad, upset, and thought he was indifferent. Until one night, when she accidentally went to his house and saw a small notebook on his desk. Inside were entries of his work schedule, and in between were little notes like, "Remind her to take her medicine at 3 p.m. Call her for 5 minutes before the meeting. Find a vegetarian restaurant because she wants to detox this week." At that moment, she cried. She understood that some people love you not with constant presence, but with the awareness of always having you in their minds, even when their heads are spinning with many other things. Spending time with someone is an emotional investment. And the busier you are, the rarer your time is, the more valuable that investment becomes. When you see him exhausted but still driving for an hour just to sit next to you for a while. When you know he's tied up with a deadline but still picks up the phone just because you're feeling down. When you realize that, despite his packed schedule, he still asks, "When can we meet this week?" Then you don't need to ask if he loves you anymore. Because he has already answered with his presence. If you are in love with a busy person who always makes the effort to spend time with you, don't quickly blame him for not caring. Listen to the sincerity in the little things. Feel the love through those scarce but fulfilling moments. Because true love is not about being together all day, but in every little moment, he always chooses you. Way 5. Subtly feeling jealous. The adorable clumsiness of a man in love. People often say that men don't get jealous. Or if they do, they hide it. Unlike women, who are quick to express their emotions and speak their minds, men tend to keep their jealousy to themselves. When a man feels jealous, he often chooses to stay silent or act a little differently. He doesn't control, get angry, or make a big deal out of it, he just feels sad in a way that's hard to notice. And because of this, many women don't realize it. They don't know that a man can feel a pang of sadness when he sees you laughing too brightly with someone else. He may stay silent the whole evening because someone is texting you too intimately. He might pretend not to care, but deep down, he's filled with a series of questions. Who is he? Is he better than me? Do you still consider me important? That is jealousy. A subtle, deep, unspoken form of jealousy. But if you're perceptive enough, you will feel it. A girl once shared, her boyfriend was always calm, reserved, and rarely showed clear emotions. One day, she told him about a new male colleague who had joined the company, handsome, talented, and very funny. She spoke freely, not thinking much about it. But throughout the evening, he remained silent, quieter than usual. He didn't scold, ask, or react. But when he drove her home, instead of saying goodnight like he usually did, he softly said, "I just hope you remember that sometimes, the one who makes you laugh isn't always the one who makes you feel at ease." Just that one sentence, and she understood that he was jealous. And in that jealousy, there was also a silent fear, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of being replaced, the fear of losing someone he truly loved. Jealousy, by its nature, comes from love. If someone doesn't care, they won't be bothered by who is around you, who is making you laugh, or who is capturing your attention. But when a man loves deeply, he begins to notice the smallest details, who you laugh with the most, who you talk about the most enthusiastically, how much time you spend with others compared to him. However, men aren't always good at expressing these feelings. They won't say directly, "I'm jealous." Instead, they choose to keep it inside or show it through awkward actions, becoming quieter than usual. Asking seemingly innocent questions like, "Does he have a girlfriend?" Offering to pick you up even though he previously said he was busy. Displaying an unusual amount of strictness with phrases like, "Don't get too close to those people." At first glance, these may seem annoying. But in reality, they are a subtle way of marking, saying that you belong to him, and he is afraid of losing what is most precious to him. Another type of jealousy, very typical of men, is jealousy toward your past. They won't say anything, but deep inside, they'll feel a little upset when you mention your ex. They might feel awkward when you play a song that someone else once played for you. They might feel secretly inferior if they think your ex did something special for you. They won't compare, but they'll try to do better. To show you that your present with them is more valuable than your past. To make sure you don't look back, because with them, you are already complete. Women often don't like it when men get jealous, or they think jealousy is a sign of a lack of trust. But in reality, that subtle jealousy is proof that they love you very genuinely. They just choose to maintain their self-respect and respect for you, so they don't make a fuss, don't control, and don't make you feel uncomfortable. They just hope you'll understand that they've given you such an important place in their life that just one glance in another direction makes them feel small. If you notice that your man gets jealous like this, don't blame him. Smile. Let him know that he doesn't need to worry, doesn't need to compare, doesn't need to silently endure. Tell him that in a world full of people who make you laugh, you choose the one who makes you feel safe. And if he is the one who silently gets jealous because he fears losing you, then he is also the one worth holding on to tightly. Way 6. Share interests and his private world with you. When a man opens the door to his heart, men are often seen as emotional fortresses. It's not easy to understand what they're thinking, and it's even harder to enter their private world, a place filled with their interests, passions, memories, and things they do when they're alone. So, when a man actively shares his hobbies with you and lets you into his personal space, that is not a random act. It is a clear sign that you are becoming incredibly important in his life. A man who loves you deeply will not just say "I love you," but will quietly say, "You can step into my world because I want to be in yours." When he introduces you to the band he's loved since college. When he takes you to watch a football match he's followed since childhood. When he plays games with you, listens to you talk about Korean dramas even though he's never watched them before. When he teaches you to cook his favorite dish, lets you read the book that changed his thinking. Or simply when he shares his childhood dreams with you, all of these acts are not just about sharing information. They are about a deep connection. For men, their private world is not easily revealed. It's their safe zone, where they can truly be themselves, where they go to escape pressure and find balance. This world might be their late-night guitar sessions, moments of quiet reflection in an old coffee shop, a passion for technology that few understand, an old camera they always carry in their backpack, or an interest in small things like fixing electrical gadgets, reading philosophy books, or gardening. That world, they don't just share with anyone. They share it with the person they trust, the one they want to be with long term. A young man once shared, "I'm not good at saying I miss you, but I show her that by asking her to go hiking with me, a place I used to go alone to clear my mind. She doesn't like hiking, but she still went. I don't like to say the words I love you, but through every step, I hope she understands. I'm taking her to the place where I feel the most free, because I want her to be there with me." Love sometimes isn't found in romantic words. It's found in quiet but sincere gestures, letting you into a part of his life he's kept private. Women often think that to love a man, it's enough for him to care about them. But a truly strong relationship is when both people share each other's worlds. You won't always understand or love what he loves. But if you feel that he genuinely wants to bring you into his inner world, accept that with appreciation. Because that is a profound invitation. I don't just want to love you, I want you to understand me. And conversely, you can also let him into your private world. Show him your small morning habits, the music you listen to, the journal entries you write when you're feeling down. When both of you begin to blend your worlds, love will enter a deeper and more lasting phase. One day, you'll look back on the moments when you watched an old movie he loved, put together a model he's kept since childhood, or cooked a dish he tried making for the first time. Those seemingly insignificant things will become precious memories, because they mark one thing: you've truly entered a world that not everyone is welcomed into. And when a man opens his heart, without needing flowery promises, just by letting you know who he is, in both his passions and the simplest things in life, that is an incredibly real and complete way of loving. So, if today he invites you to watch a movie you've never seen, listen to a song you've never heard, or do something that you don't quite understand why it matters to him, try to step in. Because who knows, you might just be walking through his heart, in the most natural and gentle way. Way 7. Silence and anger. When a man loves, he doesn't want to hurt you. In love, women are often the ones who express their emotions more easily. They may cry, say everything that hurts them, or openly sulk. But men, on the other hand, tend to react differently. When they're sad, hurt, or upset, their usual response is silence. And it is this silence that often confuses many women. They feel abandoned, they think their partner is indifferent, cold, or perhaps doesn't love them anymore. But in reality, this silence is a very clear manifestation of feelings, if we are patient enough to understand. From a young age, men are often taught, don't cry. Don't be weak. Don't show too many emotions. As they grow older, they gradually form a familiar defense mechanism, hiding negative emotions with silence. It's not that they don't feel anything, it's because they feel too much. When a man loves you, he tries to restrain his negative emotions because he doesn't want to hurt you. His silence isn't meant to distance himself, but to find peace. He chooses not to argue, not to say harsh words, not to show anger, because he fears that just one wrong word could hurt you. Silence, in this case, is a restrained way of loving. A young man once said, "Every time I'm angry, I don't say anything. It's not because I don't care, but because I'm afraid I'll say something I'll regret." The one I love doesn't deserve to hear careless words, no matter how hurt I am. This silence is not simple. It's the result of a tug-of-war between inner emotions and the desire to protect the relationship on the outside. It's a form of mature love, where the man understands that keeping silent is better than saying something that could drive both of you apart forever. However, silence is also a form of communication, even though it's unspoken. And women, if they don't understand, may easily feel hurt thinking they're being ignored, pushed out of their partner's heart. But the truth is, that's not the case. When a man who loves you chooses silence in anger, you may notice, he doesn't leave, even if he's silent. He still quietly observes, still listens, still remains present beside you. He avoids arguing, but silently takes care of you in the smallest ways. He may turn his face away, but his eyes are always directed towards you. A man's silence is not because he no longer loves you, but because he's trying to find a way not to lose that love. Love sometimes doesn't need to be expressed in words. There are moments when silence itself becomes a silent love song. It's an unspoken apology. It's an act of yielding. It's a manifestation of maturity and responsibility in emotions. But the important thing is, don't let the silence last too long. Because when a man has chosen silence too many times, he will slowly become lonely in the relationship. And if the woman doesn't approach him to open up, to listen, to understand, the gap between them will grow, even though neither of them really wants to leave. If you notice that your man has suddenly become quieter, not reacting as he used to, don't immediately assume that he is indifferent. Ask him, "Are you feeling sad? Did I do something to make you upset? Do you want to talk?" As long as you open the door, he will step out of that silence. Not because you're forcing him to speak, but because he feels safe knowing that there is someone willing to listen to him without judgment. Loving a man means learning to walk through silent moments with him. It's not just being there when he's happy, but also holding his hand when he chooses silence. Because perhaps behind that silence, there is a whole world of emotions waiting to be understood. And if you are sensitive and patient enough, you will realize, silence also has a voice. And sometimes, that's the most sincere voice of a man who loves you more than words can express. Conclusion. Love isn't always expressed through flowery words or easily recognizable romantic gestures. Sometimes, it's in the small, quiet actions, in the restraint, or the silence of a man that he shows his deepest feelings. Through the 7 ways we've explored, we see that men have very special ways of loving, sometimes through silence, through silent actions filled with care, through their personal interests they want to share only with the ones they love. So, when a man quietly listens to you, silently cares for you, or simply remains silent during moments of anger, don't be quick to judge or think he doesn't care. This is how he keeps love intact, it's how he protects you and the relationship. These actions not only show love, but also maturity, respect, and commitment in the relationship. Love is not only built on joyful moments, but also nurtured through challenges, through silence, and through understanding each other without words. Cherish these small things, because sometimes, in silence, love becomes deeper and more lasting than ever before. Thank you for watching the video till the end. I hope today's share about love gives you new perspectives and valuable lessons. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your loved ones. I truly appreciate your companionship, and I hope every video will bring you closer to a happy and lasting love. See you in the next videos. Wishing you a wonderful and inspiring day.